Okay, so did we change the whole Tateno thing already? With Minarikawa? I can't remember. Why has it been a week since I last recorded? I really shouldn't do that anymore. Kano's phone rang. Yes, it's Tateno's name. Tateno's gonna tell us to come to this rooftop. On the rooftop he will have Maria hostage. I remember Maria found out that he's friends with Achi's father. Achi's father wants to kill Hitomi because Hitomi has the same weird blood. Tateno knows that he can only get Hitomi by grabbing Maria. It's all really fucking complicated, but somehow works out. Because these people, apparently Shibuya is a small place, and it's really easy to get what you want. Oops, no reply. Please answer me, Detective Tateno, you dickhead. There's an office building and unpaid eye. Yes, just let me skip. Didn't let me reread any segment before, so I have to go through this manually. At least I can kinda skip some stuff now. I found out how. We went there, yes. We didn't see him at first. Oh my god, game! So much exposition, usually I love it, but not when I read it before. Come on. Oh god, I'm sorry. This episode has to be like this. Maybe I'm cutting all of this out. Although, 99% of the time I say this, it does make its way into the episode. Then again, the other 1% that are actually being cut, you don't know when I'm saying that stuff is being cut, since I cut it. Makes sense, right? A warm breeze blew against his cheek. He took a look around but saw no sign of Tateno. Detective Tateno, where are you? It's Kano. Where's Hitomi Osawa? Oh, it's him. Okay, yes. Oh, look at Maria. Look at those lips then. Tasty. Okay. Kano is dead in shock. Detective Tateno, why are you doing this? Is that really Maria? This is our jump. Tateno responded by removing the young woman's blindfold. Hello. There was no doubt about it. She looked very much like Hitomi Osawa. A surge of frustration rushed through Kano. Detective Tateno, what is the meaning of this? Kano fought to remain calm. The music is really dramatic. He felt like he was on the verge of falling to pieces. Bring me Hitomi Osawa, and I'll let this girl go. Why? What do you need Hitomi for? But Tateno's only answer was an icy stare. I want to kill her to brain death? Is this a phrase? This isn't like you. It's so weird. The Detective Tateno who I know. Who you know? Tateno cut him off. What do you know about me? I know what sort of detective you are, sir. Because I've modeled myself after you for my whole career. The older man's expression remained stony. Don't you remember, Kano went on, that time when you risked your life to talk down that man who barricaded himself inside that office? Ever since then, you've been my... Tateno interrupted him with a sudden burst of laughter. Damn it, that's some real villain type of shit. You really are gullible, you know that? You can only see things the way you want to see them. What do you mean by that? The truth is, I didn't even care if I died doing what I did. Yeah, he's a real hard ass. That's why I doused myself in gasoline. I hope to die. Tateno's voice had gone low and quiet. That was no display of heroics. It was more attempted suicide than anything else. I was thinking about the other people still inside the building. It's just a coincidence things turned out the way they did. So then, if you'd made a single misstep, then everyone in that building might well have burned to death. You're lying. That can't be true. Poor Kano. Also, look at those teeth. They are really fucking long, Kano. Jesus, what happened? Kano shook his head insistently. I don't have time for this conversation. Tateno pressed the barrel of his gun to Maria's head. Maria's like, what the fuck are you guys even talking about? If you don't bring Hitomi Osawa to me, believe me, I'll blow her brains out. Please stop this, Kano shouted, but there was no hesitation in Tateno's eyes. He was actually unhinged. He looked like he really would shoot Maria if Kano didn't do as he asked. Hurry up, bring Hitomi to me. Can't you at least tell me what's going on? Go now, or so help me I'll shoot. Kano drew his own gun from his jacket. Not if I shoot first, jackass. I know you're Detective Tateno. I'm gonna shoot you. I know there's some meaning behind all this. Kano's words came out as an imploring croak. You think you can shoot me? Tateno spat. Letting our caravan go free, taking Maria hostage. This has to mean something. Sweat made Kano's hands slick where he clutched his gun. I asked if you think you can shoot me. I've always looked up to you. You were the sort of detective I wanted to become. Kano's view of Tateno began to blur as tears welled in his eyes. Can you shoot me, Kano? I can. Bam! Even as he cried, Kano stood resolutely, doing his best to stare down the older man. He set his finger squarely on the trigger. Oh, you don't do that except if you really want to shoot. Trigger discipline. And pointed his gun at Tateno's forehead. Suddenly the piercing stare vanished from the other detective's eyes. I've got to give you full marks for that, Kano. Tateno smiled thinly. I'll tell you then. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Backstory. Here we go. It all happened 17 years ago. A meth addict had assaulted someone in Shibuya. Always the best beginning to a fairy tale. A drug addict. I know it's not a fairy tale, but still, it kind of feels like Kano is just listening to Tateno telling stories. Tateno was questioning people around Dokenzaka in search of the perp. He happened to pass by Endo Electronics. Oh hey, Tateno! Oh my god, it's Baby Yachi, I guess. The hair is not quite as long as it is now, but he's still looking cool. It was Kotone Endo, clad in pristine white. Pretty nice. Clutched to her breast was her... Oh, okay, it's Suzune. Was her daughter Suzune, only a few months old. It's been a long time, Kotone said. Is it Kotone or Kotone, I guess? Kotone. She flashed a tiny smile. Yes, it has, Tateno replied with a clumsy smile of his own. Of course, he was in love with her, and Endo snatched her away. Are you on a job? Yes, I am. Kotone recoiled slightly at the dour look on Tateno's face. Is something the matter? There's an armed criminal hiding out somewhere in the area. What? I wouldn't leave the shop for a while if you can avoid it. But I have to go to the bank to deposit some money. Surely you can have Daisuke do it? He's away on a repair job and hasn't come back yet. Tateno let out a one-note sigh. I see Daisuke still does things his own way. Alright, let me escort you to the bank. You mean it? I'd feel a lot safer having you with me. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's bad gonna happen, right? The perpetrator is not gonna jump on him and kill her. Or he's gonna kill her by accident. I'm sure nothing of that sort will happen. Kotone flashed him a smile so wide that Tateno thought he might lose himself in it. There she is. Tateno, Kotone and Daisuke were childhood friends and had gone to school together up through high school. Tateno and Daisuke were always clowning around together, and Kotone was always there alongside them, laughing. Damn it, guys. Love triangles. It had been quite some time since they'd gotten to walk along Dokenzaka with Kotone. How have you been lately? Oh, how have you been lately? Well, with a newborn to look after, it's been pretty hectic, but there's never a dull moment. Things have been good. I'm glad to hear it. Kotone was always as bright as a sunflower. That's a nice thing to say, I think. Sometimes Tateno managed to convince himself that just the sight of her was enough. Aww. Good cuck, mate. Outside the bank, Kotone held Suzune out to him. Damn, you have to hold the baby from your rival. Tateno received the baby with an anxious frown. Young Tateno looks really weird, by the way. What's with the face? I'm not good with babies. I haven't held one very often. Oh, you'll be fine, don't worry. Just hold on to her for a minute while I take care of things inside. What would you have done without him? Just leave her on the street? Alright. He held the baby gingerly, like it was a bomb that might explode at any moment. Babies are a bomb that might explode at any moment, I have you know. Kotone chuckled softly. Suzune stirred and squirmed in Tateno's arms. I guess this is where he kinda warmed up to Suzune, which makes him help Endo now to rescue her, to save her life. She kind of has Kotone's eyes, he thought. It was strange, the sensation of holding a child. She was so soft and light, and yet such a real and responsive presence. Yeah, it's really fucking weird if you think about it. The faint warmth of her body warmed Tateno inwardly in turn. Oh, that's nice. That's cute and wholesome. Just like how I like my flashbacks that end in tragedy. Cute and wholesome at first. When Kotone returned after making her deposit, they strolled to a nearby park, Suzune back in her mother's arms. Do you have any plans for marriage, Tateno? What? I haven't thought about it. Work has me plenty busy. Oh, that's just an excuse, Kotone said. If there really were some woman you wanted to marry, you wouldn't let work stop you. Then I suppose it's because there hasn't been anyone I've felt that way about. Really? Nobody this whole time? Damn it, is she dense? Yeah, really. I see. But still, seeing the two of you like this, it makes me realize how nice having a family could be. Tateno peered deeply into Suzune's face. Well, if it ain't Tateno. He looked up as a cheery voice cut into the conversation. The drug addict? No, it was Daisuke, of course. What are you doing here? He asked his wife. I could ask you the same question. Come on, give me a break. I've come to make the deposit for the client. In that case, no need to worry. I just took care of it myself. I thought you'd forgotten about it. Huh, really? Kotone smiled as Daisuke reached down and carefully lifted Suzune in his arms. Beaming happily at his daughter, he nuzzled up against her tiny cheek. Daisuke, long time no see. Yeah, glad you're doing well for yourself, Tateno. They walked side by side. Daisuke proudly showed off Suzune's drowsing face. What do you think? Adorable, isn't she? Yeah, luckily she doesn't have your looks. Hey now, bad-mouthing me the same as ever, huh? Some things hadn't changed since high school. Why not drop by our place for a bit, Daisuke offered. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a job actually. Also, I only just noticed, but this explains why he of course knew Achi's name. But it doesn't explain why Achi doesn't know him, since you'd think that Achi would know the childhood friend of both his mother and his father. But maybe they don't have a recent picture of him somewhere, I don't know. Tateno turned to glance at Kotone. Oh, there it is. Oh well, fuck it. An instant later, Daisuke screamed, Kotone! A man had come up behind his wife and now held a kitchen knife to her throat. Kotone stood stiffly, frozen in terror. Let her go! Tateno took a step towards the man. The slightly upturned eyes, the close-cropped hair, the thin moustache. All the details matched the description. If only he hadn't dilly-dallied in this park with her and the baby, nothing would have happened. It's your fault, Tateno. You better fucking regret it for the rest of your life. This had to be the man Tateno was after. Shut your damn mouth. You wanna try and kill me, huh? This lady here wants to try and kill me. The man was babbling nonsense. The reports had said the suspect was a tweaker. Right now, his mind was probably a complete mess from meth withdrawal. Left unchecked, there was no telling what he might do. Tateno shoved Daisuke behind him and drew his gun from his jacket. Look at him holding the baby and looking scared. Wait, don't shoot, you'll hit Kotone! But Tateno ignored Daisuke's shouts and trained his gun on the perp's shoulder. He was confident in his marksmanship. He'd never miss at this range. Tateno, please back down, Daisuke pleaded. Suzune still clutched in his arms. I beg you, just take the baby and go away. You don't want the baby to have a ruptured eardrum because he's standing right next to a gun. I can't, Tateno hissed under his breath. This isn't someone we can reason with. The assailant began waving his knife about. He could stab it into Kotone at any moment. Actually, if he's waving, that's a perfect moment to shoot, because he's not having it close to her throat at the moment, is he? Anyway, well, maybe he is. Tateno had to take the shot now. He aimed for the shoulder of the arm the man held his knife in. "Tateno, stop!" Daisuke shouted. Is he gonna push him? "Don't do this!" For a brief moment, Tateno's eyes met Kotone's. He thought he saw her give a tiny nod. "Don't shoot!" Damn it, where's the knife flying off to? Oh no, it's still in midair! Duck! No! Oh shit! What? You better shoot twice then. They just watched. Look at them. They just fucking watched. It was all over in an instant. Fucking scrubs. By the time Tateno had the perp subdued, Kotone's white shirt was soaked through with red. Damn it, Tateno. It really is your fault. With Kotone's death, so too died Tateno's heart. Whatever feelings had lived inside him had been reduced to cinders, leaving only a never-ending need to atone. Jesus. Countless times he'd thought of ending his life in order to make things up to Daisuke and his children. The only reason he didn't go through with it was that he knew death would be the easy way out. And so, he'd stayed on as a detective. That's a little child-achi. He would carry the weight of his sins with him for as long as he lived. Damn it. It's bad when one parent dies. It's worse when the mother dies, I think, even. This was the sentence Tateno gave himself. I seriously think a mother is more important to a child than a father. At least in the first few years. Later on it might change. Of course it's best if you have both parents, but still. 15 years had passed since Kotone's death. For the first time, Tateno had gone to visit her grave. He was standing by the grave marker with his hands clasped when someone called out to him from behind. Excuse me? Oh, it's Suzune. A slender young girl stood there, flowers in hand. Tateno instantly recognized her. Suzune. She looked just like Kotone had back in her high school days. "Did you know my mother?" she asked. Yes. We were classmates a long time ago." "Oh really? Thank you so much for coming." Suzune gave a slight bow, then gazed up at Tateno with her big bright eyes. You look just like her." "Stop lusting, Tateno." Tateno struggled to hold back the tears. I guess he's sad. He felt as if Kotone stood before him, returned to life. "My father tells me the same thing all the time." "I'm sure once you're all grown up, you'll be just as beautiful as she was." That's not a thing you say. A forlorn smile came to Suzune's face. "Once I've grown up? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I guess I really do have a lot in common with my mother, including the part where I'm going to die young." "Don't be ridiculous," Tateno exclaimed. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Why would you say such a horrible thing? Suzune took a step backward, looking shocked to be rebuked by a stranger. He doesn't know, Suzune. "My apologies." "Oh, my apologies," he said hurriedly. "I didn't mean to startle you." "No, it's alright," Suzune murmured, clutching the flowers close. "Honestly, it's not something I like to talk about myself. But I'm sick, so there's not really anything I can do to change it." "Sick?" "I have a heart condition." A generic expression for illnesses pertaining to the heart, also referred to as heart disease, includes things like heart failure, valvular heart disease, and so forth. "A transplant is the only thing that can help me, but my blood type is a little bit weird, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to find me a compatible donor. The immune system exists to get rid of foreign substances in the body. Often a patient's immune system will attack a transplanted organ, which can result in the organ failing or functioning poorly. To mitigate the risk of rejection, it is preferable for the donor and the recipient to have matching body tissue. In the case of a heart transplant, characteristics such as blood type and pre-synthesized antibodies, human leukocyte antigens, Jesus, must be screened ahead of time. So even if we find someone with Bombay blood, it might still fail? That's harsh. Then, bowing her head, Suzune stepped in front of the gravestone and clasped her hands in silence. Tateno felt a wrenching pain inside him, as if Kotone were being taken from him all over again. If there really was a god, why would he do such dreadful things? Is there nothing I can do? He nearly lamented aloud. I'll do anything. Suzune, I'll do whatever I have to in order to save you. Tateno clenched his fists as he stared at the grave. Tell me, Kotone, what can I possibly do for your daughter? Please tell me. Please. Is she gonna ghost him and tell him? Or is he gonna visit Endo? And so the months rolled on. Everything changed just after 10 o'clock that morning. Tateno was on a stakeout when his cell phone rang. He glanced at the call display and saw Daisuke Endo's name. He hadn't heard from Daisuke in years now. Fearing that something had happened to Suzune, Tateno answered the call despite his current tense circumstances. At once, he heard Daisuke wailing. Suzune had a seizure. She might not come back from this one. How does Daisuke know that he knows about Suzune and her condition? Did they talk before about this, or? Tateno's terrible suspicions had been right on the mark. He felt himself growing weak. Please, Daisuke exclaimed. You need to shoot that girl you're with, that Hitomi Ozawa. You need to shoot her in the head. If we have her heart, we can save Suzune. At first, Tateno couldn't make sense of what Daisuke was saying, because it's the ravings of a madman. Hurry up and shoot! Shoot her, please! Hitomi Ozawa has the Bombay blood type. How does he know? I guess we'll find it out soon. Wait, hold on, Tateno said, keeping his voice low. You want me to kill Hitomi Ozawa? Why? He quickly scanned the area. Daisuke! Daisuke, are you nearby? Wait, where are you? Don't worry about that. If you can just render her brain dead, we'll be able to transplant her heart into Suzune. Yeah, one life for another, right? The term brain dead refers to a state of being me, where the entire brain, including the brain stem, is beyond any recovery. In Japan, brain death is defined by Article 6 of the Act on Organ Transplantation, which states that brain death can only be declared with the goal of authorizing a transplant and is subject to the judgment of at least 2 doctors inspecting the patient according to a preset process at least 6 hours apart. Okay, so I guess there have to be strict procedures for that stuff in every country, I hope. Shooting someone in the head didn't necessarily guarantee they'd wind up brain dead. Yeah, they could just straight up die. And even assuming it did, if Tateno shot a Ozawa girl here in the middle of the scramble, it would cause a giant incident. By the time the autopsy was completed, the window for a heart transplant would surely have passed. Tateno, shoot her, please! Daisuke, I can't. You know I can't do that. Hurry! It was like his old friend wasn't even listening to him. Look, even if she did wind up brain dead, they wouldn't be able to perform a transplant. But Daisuke kept on shouting. It's fine. It'll be fine. I'll make the transplant work somehow. He is fucking crazy. You'll make it work? Even knowing how ridiculous that was, part of Tateno wanted to know what he had in mind, if anything. I finally found it. I found something we can do for Suzune. Please help me help her. Tateno understood Daisuke's feelings painfully well. To be helpless to stop the suffering of someone you loved. Nothing in the world hurt as much as that. I want to save Suzune. Tateno, this is the one thing I will ever ask of you. Tateno could hear choked weeping from the other end of the line, and at that sound, something inside him shifted. Yes, Daisuke was right. The likelihood of a transplant happening wasn't the issue. What mattered was that right now he could take action. He could do something for Suzune, if it mattered or not, or if it worked or not, doesn't matter. He mustered up his resolve, feeling the doubt lift from his heart. That's when Achi shows up. For Suzune. For the daughter of the woman he'd loved. Wait, so every time Tateno actually shot or hurt Achi, his father was just watching? Because his daughter is actually more important than his son? Tateno checked the gun tucked inside his jacket, then slowly began making his way through the crowd towards Hitomi. Now you know why we're here. Tateno gestured subtly with his gun, its barrel still pressed against Maria's temple. Tateno, you're fucking crazy. Kano's own gun wavered in his hands. He was crying inside. There was nothing else he wanted to hear from Tateno now. And now he was sure of one thing. Dude's mental. Words were never going to stop this man. Kano, Tateno said. At my age, I've seen all sorts of young detectives come and go. He fixed his lonesome gaze on Kano. And you're about the worst of the lot. Whenever it's time to take action, you immediately do something reckless. Do you know how many formal apologies I've had to write because of you? Tateno let out a heavy sigh. But you know, Kano, because of the way you've looked up to me, you've saved me. And that's the truth. He sounded like a man speaking his last words. Now come on, see if you can stop me. He pressed the gun hard against Maria's temple. Kano took aim at his former hero's head. Look at him. He's gonna shoot in the air. Keanu Reeves style. Detective Tateno. His finger wavered on the trigger. Shoot him. You have to shoot him. If you don't shoot him, Maria is going to die. He tried desperately to convince himself. I am going to stop you. Tateno looked him coldly in the eye. Do it then. Shoot me. Kano stared right back. He tightened his finger on the trigger. Oh my god. What a thrill and what a ride. To be continued.